Okay, so then moving on from the Padres who did make it, we got to bring up a guy who didn't make it, and a lot of Padres fans are very frustrated about this. Manny Machado. Isaac, was he snubbed from the All-Star game?
Yeah, he was definitely snubbed. There's a couple people in there that shouldn't have made it over him. Eduardo Escobar definitely should have made it. I understand he is the Diamondbacks' only representative at that game. But when I see a guy like Mookie Betts make it, and I see his numbers, and I think, how is this guy an all-star? If Mookie Betts is an all-star, our whole outfield, excluding Will Myers, is an all-star then. Sorry, Chase. But it's ridiculous. I can't believe Mookie's an all-star. I guess, he is that kind of name. He's one of the biggest names in baseball. I guess you can call him a perennial all-star no matter how he hits. But if we're going just based off stats, he didn't really deserve it. Meanwhile, Manny's been on an absolute tear lately. He's going, I understand he wasn't hot to start the season. He was definitely struggling. That's a typical Manny Machado season. But now he's starting to tear the cover off the ball. We saw on, I want to say it was Saturday. Saturday, he hit a dead center home run, and it wasn't even like no arch. It was just a line drive. And I thought, oh my God, I don't know if I've seen maybe except for from Fernando, I don't know if I've ever seen a ball hit that hard ever. Because he destroyed that ball. And he's starting to do that consistently on a lot of at-bats. You saw Joe Girardi intentionally walked him twice because he didn't want to face him. That's where it's getting to with Manny right now. That's how hot he is. He's starting to raise his batting average, and he has as many RBIs as Fernando. And I saw another really cool stat that he hasn't struck out with runners in scoring position yet. So he's constantly putting the ball in play, even if he's getting out or popping up, he's still putting the ball in play, which is really good to see. And that's how he's gotten as many RBIs as Fernando. But overall, and let's not forget about that Gold Glove defense. He absolutely deserves the Gold Glove this year. He is putting on a show out there with his glove, and he's saved so many runs. I don't know how many defensive runs saved he has, but I'd assume it's among the top in the league. And so that's why, he was snubbed from the All-Star game. He absolutely deserves it. And hopefully we see him in there in the future.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And considering how much of a tear he's been on and how many games he's probably just saved with his defense alone, I know like every now and again, like he'll come up in like the bottom of the ninth or top of the ninth, and he'll just like push one through the right side to score a run to tie the game. But that's not the only thing he does. He's probably saved like 3 games in the past 2 weeks with just his defense alone. He was one of the reasons, or he was the main reason Melanson got a couple of his saves a week ago. He turned some key double plays in the bottom of the ninth and just saved the team or saved the game for the team. And his bat's getting hot. We probably are going to look at the end of the season and be like, why wasn't Manny Machado an all-star? And if he doesn't win this Gold Glove, I think Padre fans are going to riot just because of how good of a fielder he's been and continues to be. So, just watching him and Tatis, it could have been great having Machado, Tatis, and Cronenworth. It would have been great if we could have the whole infield, but we know we kind of have a little hole at first base to deal with first. But you know what? We'll get to that eventually. But you know what? Yeah, we should have 3 Padres infielders stung in. I'll stick by that.
Well, you brought up Mookie, Isaac, and then Chase, you talked about third base, talked about fielding. So I'll bring up both Mookie and Arenado. Superstars. I don't think anyone is arguing that. Mookie is a phenomenal player. He's been playing hurt, and his numbers do not represent like who he is right now. That doesn't mean like he's not an all-star caliber player. But right now, based on some of the other guys in the league, his numbers don't represent that. So that's kind of the issue there. Also add, every all-star game, there's going to be weird stuff where guys get snubbed. I think for Manny, the way that we've seen how Manny takes a lot of criticism, he uses it as fuel. So if anything, I think this is going to spark some energy to Manny. I think it's just going to get him going even more than he has been. And just looking at his numbers right now, 264, 15 bombs, 57 RBIs. That is third in the NL. 9 stolen bases from, the guy that doesn't hustle apparently, and 828 OPS. And if you're going to bring up, Mookie's numbers are down because of shoulder injury. So Manny Machado has a shoulder injury too. That's why there was a clip of him talking about it like, I don't have any pop right now. He couldn't use his opposite field and dead center power. It's back. It's clearly back. We saw that in the Philly series where he hit those 2 balls that were just absolutely scorched to dead center. Also, I don't know if you saw, they're like 5 feet apart from each other. I thought that was hilarious. But he has been on one. That's crazy that he has not struck out with runners in scoring position. And it makes sense. That's why he's third in the league in RBIs. So he's not even like at his full peak. And I think if anything, like he's gonna look so snubbed at the end of the year because you talked about it. He doesn't get going right away, and sometimes it takes him a little while. Well, he's on one right now. He is on fire right now. So I mean, I'm going to the game tonight. We're recording this on Monday, so I am pumped. I bet I'm going to see some Manny bombs this week. I'm going to a couple of them. So I mean, this is like the best time to go to a game right now when Manny's hot, because when he's hot, he is one of the most ridiculous players you can watch. You brought up the fielding with Arenado. Arenado, yes, 4-time platinum Gold Glove winner, 8-time Gold Glove winner. Right now, Manny Machado should be the leader in that third base Gold Glove discussion. Not to knock Arenado, he is still an amazing fielder, but Manny Machado has been absolutely spectacular this year. So if you're gonna start talking about like a complete player, Manny has been that. And it's absolutely been that. Both sides, defense and offensively, he has been one of the Padres' most valuable piece. Defensively, absolutely. And then offensively, behind Tatis, he is the next best dude right now. I will say one other thing. His best game of the year, his like 2 best games or probably his best game of the year in terms of hitting was yesterday. And I don't know if the All-Star votes, if that came in the day before, it definitely could have. So you don't know if that game would have factored it because his numbers look a lot better than they did a day before. Anytime you go 2 for 2 with 2 bombs and basically 3 intentionally walks, it's going to help your stats a lot. But I think Manny should have been an All-Star. And we brought up Eduardo Escobar. Yeah, he has to make it, but I think that's just a problem with the rules. Like, guys that should make it because they've earned the All-Star nod, not because their team doesn't have enough players to make an All-Star team. Should the Diamondbacks be represented in the All-Star game? Probably not. They're 6-44 in their last 50 games. So why do they have an All-Star? Like, and no offense to Eduardo Escobar, like he's had a good year, but he's not an All-Star right now. Like that's just, I don't know. That's where I'm at. But anything else you guys want to add real quick?
We would not be having this conversation whether or not the Diamondbacks deserved an All-Star or not if Ketel Marte wasn't hurt, because we all know Ketel Marte would be an All-Star on any team. It's just the Diamondbacks are that bad of a team that he's probably like, yeah, my shoulder's still probably hurting a little bit. Maybe if you trade me away, I can play, but who knows? I'd be having this conversation if Marte wasn't hurt.
Yeah, it's going to be cool having that conversation of Ketel Marte as an All-Star next year when he's on our team. No, just kidding. I wish. I really like Ketel Marte. But, just much more credit to Manny right here for, if he didn't have such a bad rap around the league, if he was like Fernando and a bunch of people liked him, because let's be real, a bunch of people hate Manny. I mean, we'd assume he's one of the most biggest villains in the sport right now.
I got to interrupt you real quick. Look at how Philly treated him.
Exactly. They booed him for no reason, for absolutely no reason, because he argued balls and strikes with a blue. So he is one of the most hated players in the sport right now. If he wasn't one of the most hated players in the sport right now, he would be an All-Star. I could positively say that. And the stats are there. The glove is absolutely there. It's just no one except for Padres fans really likes him, and he's one of the best leaders I've ever seen, to be honest. People talk about Eric Hosmer's leadership qualities. I just don't see it out of Eric Hosmer. I see it out of Manny, and I know Fernando's probably our best player, but Manny is our absolute leader. In clutch situations, he's always coming up clutch. Like I said, he hasn't struck out running scoring position yet. So just all the qualities Manny has brought to this clubhouse, the field, it's been worth every single penny we spent on him. He is absolutely one of the best players in this league, one of the premier players in this league. I think he's showing he is the best third baseman, in my opinion. I know Nolan Arenado still got that glove, but all in all, I do think Manny is the best third baseman in the league. And I know Mookie may be playing through this injury, but we have a guy at shortstop who's literally playing through a much more significant shoulder injury than Mookie is. And he's batting 305 with almost 30 bombs. Mookie's batting like 240-something, 250-something with like 10, 11, maybe 12 bombs. So talk about overpaid when you guys are talking when Dodgers fans are bringing that up earlier, right? But, Manny absolutely deserves this, and he was snubbed for sure.
I love it, Isaac. I think that's perfect.
I'm gonna say
All
one
right.
more thing.
One more thing?
One more thing. It seems like there's a consensus 3 villains in baseball in the league: Manfred, umpires, and what fans say about Manny Machado. Because my God, do they hate that man?
No, it's definitely true. It is 100% true. So I think I'll do it though. Manny should have been an all-star. We'll look up and he'll be top 3 in MVP voting at the end of the year, so it'll be all good. But I think they'll just spark him and get him going even more. Fully healthy now. We could see that with those bombs to dead center. So looking forward for Manny to go on a tear now. But should have been an all-star. It's all right. I'm sure he's not upset about it, but all good. So that'll end it for this.